It's circling. It's making that little, that little thing that it does, where it's thinking, it's trying to make it. Aha! I think we are also live on YouTube. God bless. Now, um, the president did back up off of that using disinfectants internally, where he said, couldn't we figure out something about injecting or ingesting? So the Lysol and other companies have come out saying, no, sirree, Bob, don't do that. Don't. That their products were not made to be ingested, and they were not made to be, you're not supposed to take them. But anyway, the memes are out of this world. Everybody got a meme. They got a meme with, with a needle, injection needle. They've got all kinds of memes. Um, they got people trying to do um, Clorox enemas, just every kind of thing out there. So also be careful with your children as you see them chuckling, go look, just in case they are chuckling about something they shouldn't be chuckling about that the president has said. Hi, Louise. I want to say thank you, Bishop. Hi, Mr. Hardy. As we go forward, I want you to know that I truly appreciate you clicking in on Facebook Live. Please share and ask others to join us. Now, I think they said that we have currently 52,000 people that have died of the coronavirus. That's a lot. And, people continue to die just, of regular things, but they've been affected by the coronavirus because most of the nursing homes are just doing graveside services. And so people are not, they're not really sending florals and all of that because they figure nobody's going to actually see them. Most of the funeral homes are saying 10 people, including the minister. So I heard one person say that they were able to have their people to stay in the cars. They just watched, from um, from the distance. So, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. And as we go through that and hear about what's happening with those folks, we also learned that there are three states that are leaving the situation with shelter, not shelter in place. Some people call it that, but it's really a stay-at-home order, and that's Georgia, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Those three states, they're lifting their restrictions and trying to get people to go get back to work. And I heard a Republican legislator say that it's really hard to get people interested in getting back to work the longer this goes on. And he started to talk about the fact that the fast food restaurants were, still doing brisk business, and they were looking for workers, and that the workers didn't want to work because, putting a little bit more light on the situation, because they, you know, really the problem, he didn't understand that the problem is that they don't make enough money. That's why many of them have more than one job. They got two fast food jobs, or they got a fast food job and a job at the Walmart. That it's not enough money um, involved. So um, as I don't know what the urgency is. Well, look, I know the hairdressers. Everybody want to get back to the hairdresser. Uh, they want somebody to do their nails, all that great stuff. But I don't think it's worth your life. I really don't. And you can, if you want to get in on the conversation, you can text me, click me at talkissues@gmail.com. That's TALKISSUES at gmail.com. Now, there are other conversations you probably want to get in on as well. And I'd say call your congressman on that, the guy that was fired because he asked for the evacuation of his ship because they had an outbreak of corona, and um, so far hundreds have been tested and tested positive. They fired him, and then they ridiculed him, and I think he did the right thing. They say, oh, he leaked it to the press. Well, he had tried everything else, and I have someone that in my family that's in the Navy, and now that's some close proximity. You can't social distance on a ship. I'm saying, well, what in the world was he supposed to do? He could not get the attention of folks. And had they died, and I'm sure some did on the ship, they were going to be sworn to secrecy. So yeah, he let it slip out, or he didn't do all he could to prevent the word from getting out that they had corona on the ship, and he wanted his people, you know, evacuated out of there, released from the ship. So I say, can contact your congressman. I know that's what I'm going to do. I actually think that man needs a pat on the back. The president said that our postal service is a joke, and he wants them to raise rates 4 or 5 times. Now, you heard me say earlier that I needed to get to the post office. Right now, that's who I trust. Well, FedEx not too bad, but everybody else, they dropping my stuff everywhere. I had a lady all the way down the road to come with one of my packages. She said she was expecting a package which she had never gotten, and there she had one of my packages. That the Lord worked that thing out too, because she bought several. What do you call them? Masks. So that was wonderful. We got, I made a friend, and so that worked out. But I think that the post office needs to be funded. One press conference I watched, he was thanking everybody for, when I say thanking everybody, he was thanking the ones in Brown, he was thanking the other ones, and and the other ones that just got initials for those delivery services. But he ridicules the U.S. Post Office, and I think that because you know what, they don't like supposed big government, and they really think that services like the post office and things like that, um, uh, employees that they are telling the states that they should be eligible to declare bankruptcy because they want those pension funds. They want those pension funds erased. People who have done 25, 35 years, will be without anything if your state decides that it's going to um, have uh, be bankrupt, become bankrupt. That's one of the obligations that would be erased, and that's the retirement pension funds. So we want to holler at your congressman. Now, look, you know what it was. Everything I remember, we had a situation in our neighborhood where the gutters were clogged up. And I said, "Look," I'm telling this guy, "do you have a rake or something that you could, get that stuff out? I got some bags, and we can get this so that this water, will drain off." And this guy said, now by this time, Cleo Fields was in Washington, D.C. in Congress. And he was like, "I'm going to call Cleo." Well, Cleo not in Congress, So you call whoever your congressman is. Now, some of them are embarrassing. And what's that? Kennedy got on national TV talking about we got to get people back to work. We got to get people back to work. And of course, there are going to be some losses. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, but he worried about the stock market. So, um, speaking of the stock market, there are problems with oil. Yeah, I know you smiling because when you went to the pump, you could almost fill up on half of what you paid last month this time. Well, um, there's a problem with the system, and I'm going to tell you, because there's a problem in the system. Let me say hey to Tiffany, Rudy. You one of the funniest men on Facebook. Faith, thanks for joining in. Tiffany, Lacole, thank you for joining in. I was just talking about gas. Oh my goodness. I know you're happy, but the state is not, because there's too much oil out there. There's an oversupply, there's no storage. And you remember this all got started when Russia and OPEC got at each other back and forth. Who can produce the most? No, I can make your prices go down. No, I can make your prices go down. And while they was battling with each other, just as they said, wait a minute, this has gone far enough. We cutting off our nose to spite our faces. About that time, um, then the coronavirus, the pandemic hit, and people are not driving as much. They're not going to work. They're not, just driving around. They're staying at home. They're staying indoors. And so now that people are not burning gas like they were, so that's two things. States like Texas and Louisiana, you know, they where they we get so much revenue from, and I guess probably Oklahoma. There's a couple of more. Get a lot of revenue from the hi Robert Willis. Thanks so much for joining. Those those places, that makes it hard for those states because they're not getting that revenue. However, for places like, um, well, anywhere else, like a lot from Las Vegas to from London to Las Vegas, the air is cleaner. There are some places in India and Tokyo, they can see past the smog, that the people are breathing a little better. They want to go outside because the air is not all clogged up with the pollution that they've been having for the past 10 years. Just that fast is clearing, the air is clearing up some. So I hope that folks will be loving to hear and see and breathe fresh air. We're going to give a call to our guest of the hour, and that's Reverend um, Ivory Deepain. And let's see if we can get him on the line. I hope that my volume will be high enough for everybody to hear. and we'll see if we can't catch him.
Hello.
Hello, Reverend Ivory D. Payne.
Hello. How are you?
How are you? I want to
I'm
introduce
doing
you
great.
not only to our Facebook Live folks, and I believe I've successfully clicked into YouTube Live as well. But
Wonderful.
yes, and thank you, thank you, thank you. We're simulcasting on 24/7praiseradio.com,
That's
correct?
right. Your
Uh,
global inspiration station.
yes. And so this is our first time having you on the Let's Talk program since we've been locked in.
I know.
And as I understand it, for the 24/7praise.com, you are not live in the studio, but you are transcommuting.
Yes, I am.
And how's that going?
Oh well, it's going well.
Okay. No
Definitely,
snags?
we don't have anybody in the studios, but we do have technology. I'm able to do some things from my home, and
Hmm.
it's been a learning curve for us, but we are doing well. We are learning. I love learning about new technology.
Amen. Well, I'm trying to. And as we see, all of our favorite talk shows are, going virtual where they have the individual hosts wherever they live. They're carrying on the conversations without being in chairs in front of, a camera in the studio. So I'm listen for those who do not know. Reverend Ivory D. Payne is a Renaissance, is of course. Um, he is a publisher of several publications, including for those who are in the Louisiana Baton Rouge area, the 40-year-old 40 plus.